I got to the top of the stairs from my basement, and I had those little red lasers peering through my little window, and they said, "Federal agents, open up. If I don't let these folks in, then they have these itchy trigger fingers, and I don't want my children to wake up seeing their mom in a puddle of blood, so let me open the door."
From Acapulco, Mexico, this is Anarchast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. And I've got a great first-time guest coming on, and it's a person I found out about just recently, actually. She's actually quite well known. Her name is Sherry Jackson, and she essentially fought the IRS, and a whole sordid story we're going to get into about how they basically set her up and put her in jail for 4 years without even committing, she didn't even commit a crime. She was just telling people about what she thought about how fraudulent the IRS was. And I got introduced to her, and we talked, and she's going to be speaking at Acapulco. And we really like a lot of people that are, doing things out there and kind of standing up to the system in various different ways. And Sherry definitely she's got the badge of honor of being in jail, as so many of our speakers have been, as that is the case. When you try to even just mention how the system's fraudulent or how bad the system is, they come after a lot of people, and they did with Sherry. So she was in jail for a few years just for talking about basically facts about how the IRS is doing a lot of fraudulent things. So we're going to get into all that. She's coming in from Georgia. Pleasure to have you on, Sherry. And the first question I have to ask you, though, is how did you become a voluntarist?
Thanks for having me, Jeff. I have become a voluntarist. It's been a while. I've always been after justice, and I've always noticed that the government does things to people. Doesn't matter whether you're black, white, green, blue, purple, polka dot. We need to understand that they don't like us, and they want power. They want to keep power. So they make rules for their benefit, not for our benefit. And it hurts us all as a people. That's right. And back in maybe when I was in high school, I started speaking out about injustice all the way up until as an adult. I realized that something needed to be done, and I couldn't sit still, because there's something that Thomas Paine said. He said, "If there be trouble, let it be in my day, so that my child may have peace." And as soon as I started having children, I said to myself, I don't want them to go through this, but I can't sit here, I can't sleep at night knowing that I'm not doing anything about it. So that's what happened.
Yeah, that's great. There's a quote, I'm sure I'm going to screw it up. I screw up all quotes, but it's something along the lines of, all it takes for evil to exist or to continue is for good people to do nothing. And that's actually a big thing that I talk about on this show, is not just talking about stuff, but actually doing something. And that's all it really takes. If enough people actually just stood up and did something and stood up to when they see injustices, we'd have a totally different world. But for some reason, a lot of people either are blind to it or prefer to be blind to it. They know that it exists, but they just don't want to look at it. And so that's why I really like people like yourself, who said, I don't care what they're going to do to me. I have to at least say something about this. And you paid the price for it. And that gets you like top marks at Acapulco.
The original link is below.